Hello, everybody. This is Betsy Wuszel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Jeanne White is the producer and writes the blog, which I suggest you read. And please share this audio cast because it has valuable information that people need to hear over and over again. And you will be helping yourself and somebody else. And if you missed any of this audio cast, you can subscribe to Chatting with Betsy on Spreaker, Spotify, CastBox, Amazon Alexa, so you won't miss any of my shows. I want to just say that today's topic is Advance Directive, and I suggest you go to your attorney for legal counsel and advice. Well, today's show is about Advance Directive, but we're not lawyers. So please consult your attorney about your Advance Directive and make sure you have that in place. It's very important, and it can't be said enough. I have my dear friend. She is known as the Dementia Whisperer. I wish I could clone her and put her all over the world. Welcome, Maria Khader.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Betsy, and I also can't thank you enough
for
the audio cast that you do to interview people and get their input to help other people with the information that we have. And I continue thanking Jeanne White for introducing me to get to know you and get to know her too. As you said, talking about the Advance Directive is a very, very big and important subject that we all need to know about it to prepare ourselves. And as Betsy mentioned, please contact your lawyer because we are not lawyers. We are here to just give you information how to prepare yourself and what does it mean, Advance Directive, and how to choose the right decision for your loved ones when it is time for them to make a decision about the Advance Directive. Maybe it's for yourself and maybe it's for your loved one, and you don't want to hassle with it the last minute. Also, I want to also add another information here. It's a general one. Each state has a different Advance Directive forms. So what applies for us here in Montgomery County and the state of Maryland, it is totally different name for the same form, though, that is in New Jersey where Besty is. So we have to be careful and not to misunderstand what I'm going to say now and say, oh, Maria did not say something about this form. We don't go with the content of the form, not the name, because every state chose to use a different name for it. Okay? So I'm going to talk about, for now, is what is the Advance Directive? Some people, they call it living will, but the Advance Directive is a written statement that the person wishes regarding medical treatment. It is made to ensure that those wishes are carried out should the person be unable to make those wishes and to communicate those wishes to the medical team. So I cannot, if you have your loved one, he did not have his wishes about the end of life, about, let's say this person had an accident, and he did not say to you, if something happened to me, put me on a ventilator or don't put me on a ventilator. This means that if I have my Advance Directive, that means I already tell whoever is going to be taking care of me as the medical person knows what is my wishing, what's my wish regarding this ventilator or not. Do I need to have a CPR or not, which is the cardio resuscitation, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. These are wishes that we respect. When a person comes to us and we say, do you have Advance Directive? Yes, I do. Give me a copy. Then here we are. We have a document in our hand. It talks about his Advance Directive or his living will regarding his medical treatment.
Yes,
Some
and that
people
is
yes,
very important, Maria. And I want to just say here, Maria, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I want to tell the listeners, you know what? I read this because right after COVID, people started going crazy, getting advance directives. When an individual is 18, I suggest 18 and over, go for your advance directive. You need to have it.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Maria.
Yes. So the question that might come to a person's mind, how an advance directive can make a difference in a person's life. It does make a difference because if, like you and I, Besty, we have our advance directive, it makes our own choices for the end of life. I don't want anyone to say, she didn't ask for ventilator, so let's put her on ventilator, or let's not put her on ventilator. I already chose what I want, so please respect what I chose. I want a ventilator. That means I want a ventilator at the end of my life. Then if it didn't work, that's something the doctor and the other medical team will be deciding on what to do next. Then it will also prevent confusion and disagreement. Too many times I will be working with families that I have, and the family members, there are 2 sisters and 2 brothers. And unfortunately, their loved one did not make a decision. And that will be the sister wants to have advance directive and doesn't want a CPR, and the brothers want a CPR. So you are having a disagreement here, and you have confusion for the family. If you already have it, you already solved this problem for them. You're adding a burden there on them. You're adding a lot of stress on the family. It's enough the stress that they're going through that you are not able to do that decision. Why are you adding this to them? Go ahead and consult your lawyer, consult your decision maker, and make that forms, make that document ready for yourself. And when Betsy said it is from the age 18, it is true, and it's 100% accurate. Since you are called an adult at the age of 18, that means you can make your own decision. Go ahead and consult your lawyer and get your advance directive. What is needed to have my wishes done? Because it is not just one form. It's a package the lawyer have for you. And one of them is the advance directive, which is the most important, document that you need to make a decision about it. So your loved one will not have a burden there on you to make that tough decision. And you will help them. You will help them what you want. You will help them what is included in that advance directive. Like that someone would say, okay, well, how about who do you want to make that your health decision for you? Like they will come and say, okay, well, those 2 brothers and 2 sisters, they don't know what to make a decision for their mom or dad. They're sick and they cannot make that decision. If you already assigned someone to make that decision for you, you would say, I want so-and-so to make the decision about my medical needs at the end of my life. So it can be a partner, it can be a spouse, a husband or wife, it can be a close friend, it can be a family member, it can be like your son, your daughter, and it can be 2 of your sons. But I personally, from my own experience, Betsy, I will not have 2 of my kids out of 4 to be in charge of my medical choices. Because even with those 2, and I'm talking from my own experience, they will have the disagreement. And you are putting a burden on them. So let's just make one person, and you decide with this person, your son, your spouse, your friend, your partner, you decide with them, what do you want? And they will acknowledge these wishes for you. Another person can be in charge of you and be able to make those decisions. It will be, you can talk to this person, whatever you want. It will be like, I have a neighbor. I have family that they trusted the neighbor, the loved one, and he has kids, but he decided that he wants his neighbor. to be his medical power of attorney and to make those choices. Some people, they have the bank that they're dealing with. There is a certain group in the bank that they will be able to do that. And, it depends. You trust this person, you can make this person to be the care decision for you.
Very good, Maria. I also would like to add, and I heard this from my friend, Dr. Marianne Matzo, who was a palliative and hospice oncology nurse, and she has her own podcast, Everyone Dies. And she suggested, and I never thought of this until I heard Marianne say this, is pick someone who is not a relative, because it's hard to put that burden on your children. It's hard for a child to pull, to pull that plug if that's what you want. And so instead of having your child to make that choice, pick a friend if you can, so you don't burden your child with that, because there could be arguments among the siblings, and who agrees and who doesn't agree, even though there is an Advance Directive. So I thought that was a really great idea that I never thought of myself. So I want to do a shout out to Dr. Marianne Matzo for telling me that suggestion, and I'm going to pass it on.
I would, again, the way I was looking at it from my experience, this is the best decision, is not to put a member of your family to take that decision, because it can be the other way around too, not just to have a burden on them and they don't feel like, oh, let me get this plug off there. It will be that they wanna, it's their wish actually to get rid of this person as quickly as possible, and they will say, okay, well, go ahead and unplug the ventilator off. And I also have it from my own experience with certain families, that they came to me and they said, we don't want anything to be given to this person to elongate their life. And I would be like shocked to hear this from a family member. And I would say, you know what, but I am following the living will that I have. And I respect, because that was done at the time that this person was able and capable of putting his own living will. And that's why he put it or she put it, because they know at one point they will not be able to do it, and someone else will start taking a decision for them, and they don't want it. So that's just the way we are. I mean, we are human beings. So that's why we encourage people, when they are able to do this decision, do it before it's too late for you to do it. And then we will ask another question there for them and say, do you know enough about the kind of treatment we do to help you stay alive? They don't know. They say, what makes me stay alive? If I want to die, I will die. No, there are, let's say something happened to you and you need to be treated because you didn't put anything there on your living will, and you want everything to be done for you. So do you know anything about something called CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation? They don't know about it. So we have to explain what is cardio resuscitation, which is, if you have a heart attack, we were just doing the resuscitation for you, the CPR. And then we have to teach them what's the effect of it, what is the advantage of doing it, and what is the disadvantage of doing it, because it is not only keeps you alive, but also it can cause complications there for you. So if you want it, we will go ahead and do it for you. And that's where you will discuss it with your lawyer, and the lawyer will be able to explain those for you. There is also something called the ventilator, which is the breathing machine. Would you like to be put on the breathing machine, which is now they're using it a lot with the COVID patients, to put the ventilator to help them with the breathing. So, but this is for the end of life. Do you want to be just on a ventilator to keep you breathing? That's a decision. Again, they need to know how to make it wisely. And we will talk about the advantage and the disadvantage of having a ventilator on you. Again, there is also something called dialysis. We need to teach them what is dialysis. Is when your kidneys are failed and they're not able to do the job. So we do the dialysis for you, and we had to explain what does it mean dialysis, how do we do dialysis, how often do you need it, what if you don't do it, what will happen, and that's, again, their decision to use yes or no. There's also the tube feeding. There are tube feeding. There are many patients, they come to me and they say they are with tube feeding, and they think that this will make their life longer, and, it doesn't help sometimes because it came at the end of their life. So tube feeding is to feed them, and it's a tube put in the stomach, and we have to tell them what is the advantage of it and what are the disadvantage of it. There is also another thing that we use for them, which is the use of antibiotics. Antibiotics can be used orally, and it can be used intravenously. So, and this is a choice too. Do you want to use the antibiotics? And some of them would say, I will use it if it's only orally. I don't want it to be intravenously. I don't want to be touched in the vein. I don't want to go to the hospital to get it. And these are also notes on the form that you will be filling, which is, it's called Advance Directive, but the form that we are using here in the state of Maryland is called MOST, because it starts with the M for Maryland. The Maryland resuscitation, you don't need to know why, the name of it, because you are not in the state of Maryland, or maybe you are. So if you are, you should probably know about it. But this information is already put on that form, and it's up to you as a choice maker to say, I want to be getting this antibiotics or not. So, and that's when, how am I going to, if I want to use those, what my condition has to be? That they will say, do I need to be at the end of life to make this decision to use the ventilator and do the CPR? How do you feel about the use of those life support, we call them? How do you feel about it? You have to teach them that. You will say, okay, if you have incurable disease, let's say, you're in the late stage of cancer, and the cancer is already untreatable. That you tried all kinds, and this is uncurable. If you are on, I don't want to give examples, so I don't want to be giving some people less hope, but I'm trying to give the information about the Advance Directive and when and why do you need to really do it beforehand. So when you have an incurable disease, and let's say the person is in coma, and there's a little chance to come out from that coma, and there is also the long-term illness. So how do you feel about those if the person is already in those stages? That's something also you need to decide on it. Too many times I have residents, I take care of residents in our facility, and there will be other hospice care, and they still did not make a decision about certain things on that form. And I would say, if we are going to be on hospice care, we have to use comfort measures here. So I want you to think, are we going to use those, or let's just change what you have? Because they will be already signing under CPR there that they want CPR, but it doesn't work with hospice. If you want to do CPR, you have to do CPR and no hospice privileges there. So this is why, again, we have to continue saying, please do the choices before you are in coma, before you are in an accident that caused you not able to do that kind of decision. Do you have any input there for me?
You know what, Maria? I live in New Jersey, as you had mentioned. In my state, in New Jersey, your form, which begins with an M, mine for some reason begins with a P. It's called POLST here. And the doctor gave this to me in the doctor's office. I already did the Advance Directive. Matt and I both had Advance Directives. And he gave me this form to fill out. He explained it to me, and I picked out, what I wanted, and I thought what Matt wanted, because when I was given this form, Matt could no longer make decisions. So I had to do it for him. The doctor knew I had power of attorney. And, is it easy to do, Maria? No, it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
At all. It's very heartbreaking, actually. And, I don't sugarcoat here in Chatting with Betsy. It was very difficult to do that. Now, Matt did not want a feeding tube. He lost a lot of weight. And the neurologist said, well, he could have a feeding tube in. And I said, absolutely not. Matt does not want that. He will not get it placed in. It was interesting. When Matt's mom was in a nursing home facility, she did an Advance Directive. She did not want a feeding tube, but she was losing a lot of weight, and Matt said he wanted it. Now, the nursing home said to Matt, we could fight you on this because your mother said she doesn't want it, but we won't, if you want her to have it. So, unfortunately, she had it. I mean, I couldn't tell Matt what to do about his mom. That was his mom. I can't, I'm not comfortable saying, oh, no, don't do that. It's not my place. I felt, it wasn't my place. Excuse me. I don't believe he discussed it with his other siblings, but Matt also had power of attorney, which is another, subject. So I think this is excellent information. When you go to I want to tell listeners, if you already have an Advance Directive, go to your doctor. If you don't already have this form, ask them for the orders for life-sustaining treatment.
Exactly.
It could be called, a different name. Now, when you fill out this form, the doctor will sign his name or her name. Have it on your refrigerator. And if your loved one or you are do not resuscitate, which means they do not do CPR, which Maria talked about, do not call 911. Just call the first aid or regular number or the police. Don't call 911 because they will send a squad and they will do CPR. You hand in this paper. And this paper also, like if you go to a facility like Maria has, I forgot to mention that you were CEO at JK House of Grace in Maryland, you give this paper to the nursing facility that your loved one is in. Or you go to the hospital.
It is required to be given.
Yes. And you bring it to a hospital. But if you have that paper, your loved one's in a nursing facility, then that paper goes with them to the hospital if they have to go to the hospital.
Exactly.
And they know. And I like, Maria, that you brought out, and this can't be said enough, listeners, and I really, I don't care if you get tired of me talking about this. It's so important. As well, if you don't already have an Advance Directive, get one done. But if your loved one or you yourself are diagnosed with any terminal disease, you need to run to your lawyer and get this done immediately. Because what could happen, especially in the diagnosis of dementia, they could say, well, he or she didn't know what they were doing, so this isn't really what they want.
Exactly.
Make sure, that you go immediately. Excuse me. So that there's no question. And then, go ahead, Maria.
I want them also to understand what does it mean for them, quality of life. Because as you said, if the quality of life for them is ability to function on your own, that means, yes, if you're able to function on your own, then you have to make your Advance Directive. Now, there is also, are you okay to go to the hospital, to live in a nursing home, to be in an assisted living? They have to make those choices beforehand, because too many people, they will just leave it alone until the last minute where the kids, they don't know what to do, and it will be advised to them by the doctors or the hospital your dad, your mom cannot stay home alone. You really need to find a place for her. Okay? So there are questions that you really need to think about. Where do you want to spend the last days of your life? You want to spend them at home? That means, do you have a quality of life? Are you able to be at home? You want to be at home and pay your money on a private duty caregiver? Or you want to be in an assisted living? Or you want to be in a nursing home? These are things you have to present them to your family, to your loved ones, before something happened to you. Any medical condition that affects your life, you have to understand. If, like, let's say I'm a cancer patient, so I have to know what's the plan for me from now until maybe another year or two. I have to make sure my family will understand if something happened to me, what I want from them to do. These are like conditions. This is cancer, advanced cancer I'm talking about, stage 4, and that is not treatable. There is nothing treatment happen, and nothing can help at this time. So you have to know that. Do you want your pacemaker? Some people are on pacemaker that implanted in their body, and the pacemaker. What's the function of the pacemaker is to help the heart keep beating, keep working, because your original heart is not working right. So they put the pacemaker. Do you want them to deactivate this pacemaker for you when something happened to you? This is a decision you need to make. Too many times the patient has, the residents have a pacemaker with me, and we know that they're dead, but their heart is still bum, bum, because the pacemaker is still working in him. And do you want to donate an organ? Because these are also something important on that form that we're talking about. And the lawyer, when you're talking with the lawyer or with the doctor, actually, the doctor has to know this form too, because the doctor is the first one who will present it to you. And if you are in the hospital these days, they will give it to you. And if you are a doctor, a cancer patient, your doctor and your nurse at the cancer center will give it to you. It is important. Do you want to give your organs? Some people, they donate their brain. Now with the Alzheimer's situation, we are encouraging people to go ahead and donate their brain, because we want to find a treatment for this ugly disease. And we want to try to do all researches on each person that has dementia or doesn't have the dementia or Alzheimer's to see if we can find a treatment. So do you want to donate a kidney? Too many people, they go with the kidney failure and they want to have some kidney and they're still young. Do you want to donate an eye? Donate the organs, whatever organ that you want to donate. Are you comfortable to talk about the end of life? Betsy, how many times you interviewed people to talk about the end of life? Too many. We still need to talk about it. Are you comfortable to talk about it? Most of the families, they're not comfortable to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the end of life. But you can see your dad or your mom at this stage. Why don't we talk about it? Why don't we plan for it? Same with you as a person. Anytime something happened to you, let's talk about the end of life. What's your plan for the end of life? Any religion ritual, we skip that one these days. I don't know why, but we still have those patients, people, residents, that they want to have to be anointed because they're Christian. They want to have the rabbi because they're having they're Jewish. They want to have the sheikh or whatever. They want to have their religious leaders to come and pray with them, to come and anoint them, to come and do a service for them. We offer that. Why don't we? So we have to write this one down. Now, at the end of my life, I would like to be having a service. I would like to be buried this way. I would like to have my funeral service. This is the end of life religious ritual wishes, and we have to respect those wishes, and including myself. I take care of all religion in my facilities there, and I don't even I don't let any occasion happen, a holiday happen, without me celebrating with them. As simple as the Sabbath, the Christmas, the Easter. I have to celebrate. I have to continue with this rituals that they believe in, and that's their religion. And we have to respect that and fulfill that wishes for them. The other question might have in your mind and in their mind, do you have uncurable disease? You got let's say that the person is having, he's with me as a resident, and we're going to put him on, hospice, but we have to make sure, let's say that while you are on uncurable disease like cancer, I'm always thinking of cancer here because I just can't see it as an uncurable disease, and you got pneumonia. Do you want us to treat you for pneumonia? This is simple, because on that form it says you can use only oral antibiotics, you can use IV antibiotics, and it's your wish. There are certain, about 4 or 5 items under the uncurable disease and the treatment of other associated disease that happen just now, like pneumonia. So we treat symptomatic. What's wrong with that? Let's treat symptomatic. He has pain, give him pain medicine. He has temperature, let's give him something to reduce his temperature. He has, this is also wishes. If he asks for it, it's written there for me as a nurse in a facility or as a nurse at the doctor's office or in a hospital. I have to fulfill these wishes. He wants me to give antibiotics, I will give antibiotics. He wants me to get him a religious leader to pray with him, I will do that for him. So these are questions that you need to ask it to this person who is doing his advance directive and get his answers written on that form that you're going to be talking about it to him, so he can be, his wishes will be fulfilled at the end of life. What else do we want to talk about here?
Thank you, Maria.
Actually, two more things I want to share with them, with the listeners. What happens if you don't have an advance directive? This is a problem. You're going to be in it. As we said at the beginning, we don't want to put a burden on someone else from your family to make that decision. But guess what? You will receive the medical care whether you have advance directive or not. That's important for you to know, because medical care, it has to be done according to your wishes. That's if you have it, or you don't have those wishes in the advance directive, so we have to give you the medical treatment. If the family are not involved, the friends are not involved, you didn't put a spouse, you didn't put a partner, you didn't put anyone. So who's going to be involved is the medical team. The medical team will be involved. They will end up getting the courts ready. And here we will call probably the other protective services, or we will call the county, and then we'll say we have a situation, but we will start treating as if he doesn't have, because he doesn't have it. So we will treat. If he needs CPR, we will do the CPR and we will do the treatment, because we have to do our job as a medical team.
That's correct. Very good, Maria. People don't realize that how important a document is, because if they don't have advance directive, the state will come in and they might do things you don't want them to do, such as put your loved one on a ventilator or resuscitate. And, is this a pleasant subject to bring up to your parents or to your spouse? No, it's not. I brought it up to my mom, and she got very mad at me. But, I had to bring it up. And I brought it up again last September. My mom had major surgery. She almost died. And I said to my siblings, ask Mom, where she would like to be when she can't take care of herself, because she got mad when I asked her. So maybe if you ask her, she won't be as mad. Excuse me. And this is very, very important. It's not pleasant, but it needs to be brought up. And I will bring up the taboo and what people don't want to talk about, because it is so important. It's so important to know your loved one's wishes, like Maria said. And really, you know what? Even ask what kind of funeral they want. Ask what songs they want.
Exactly.
Death is part of life. Let's face it. It's a circle of life.
Exactly.
And so let's die the best way we can and comfort.
With dignity. Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. I do have to share. Yes, go ahead, Maria. There's nothing wrong with asking your loved one about it. Do you have that planned out, Maria?
Yes,
What?
I did. You're talking about if I did my own Advance Directive?
Well, I know you did that, but did you discuss funeral arrangements and what you want?
Actually, I did it. Yes, I did it. Yes, and my family were not very happy. My husband was really, really unhappy, and I said, let's just go and let's go to that to the cemetery, and we will see what we can see there, and let's just introduce ourselves there. And he did take me there, and we did the tour to the cemetery, and yes, we discussed it. Mm-hmm. And I'm we all can die from any different reason. It is nice to have something ready, and whether you do it at age 18 or age 50, this is not expired. Advance Directive it just stays forever, eternally. So it doesn't have any expiration date. It expires with you as you expired, So you can do it. You can change in it. Let's say I did it at the age of 40, which I did. And then at the age, when I started having the issues with my medical condition, we changed it a little bit because, I know that I don't have a curable disease. So we have to change a little bit in it. And that's why I'm talking freely about it. It is no harm. It is no just help this family, help your family. Help your family take care of you, respect your wishes, let you end your life with respect and dignity. It is important. You respect yourself actually when you do it because you don't want to put any burden on any other people, and you don't want those people to say, oh, Mom, why are you putting us in this? Dad, why are you putting us in this condition? I wish you did something before you die. See, this is where I learned it the hard way. I learned it from my own families that I take care of their loved ones.
Yes, it's very important. I don't know why, or I don't even know when. And out of the clear blue, Matt had said to me, I want the song In the Garden at my funeral. And he loved Johnny Cash. So I played In the Garden with Johnny Cash singing the song. And, I did discuss with Matt his wishes. I didn't want to make that decision. I did not want to make it. And, like I said, it's not a pleasant decision to make. And I didn't tell Matt because I didn't want to upset him, but I went and I picked out, his casket, and I did the pre-arrangements. And I went to the cemetery for the opening and closing to start, paying on that, which I'm glad I did because in December 2018, I did the pre-arrangements. I think at August of 2018, I went to the cemetery, and Matt died January 1st this year. Uh-huh. So you need to get these things done so that you are ready, so that you are prepared. And, why don't we accept dying as part of life? I don't know why it's so hushed. Nobody wants to talk about it. And we really need to bring it to the forefront.
That's right.
It's so important. When Matt was in the hospital, the hospice doctor said to me, he has 15 minutes with a patient. And in that 15 minutes, he has to start discussing end-of-life issues. And he said his patients don't have a clue. And they're already in their 60s. And I told him that on my show I talk about these things. And he said, that's good, because that would make my job easier if people would hear other people talk about it. And this is why I will talk about it, and I'll continue to talk about it. And, Maria, you'll continue to talk about it because we want to help people. We want to help you and your family. It's so important. Thank you so much, Maria, for coming on and sharing your information with us, because it's very valuable information.
Drew, Betsy, I just want to encourage the listeners to be more open and to talk and to ask questions. And when we share our own life experience, like you sharing about your life with your husband and with your mom, I'm sharing my life as myself here. It is not because we want sympathy here. It's just we want you to be educated. Like, do something before it's too late.
Yes.
That's exactly what we want.
Exactly. I tell people, Maria, I'm not an expert. I just want people to learn from my mistakes, so that they don't make the same mistake. Some people do have to, learn by their mistakes, but I want people to learn from my mistakes. I didn't have anyone to help me navigate these waters. I didn't have anyone to help me. And I wish there was people like you, Maria, Sue Fernandez, Marcia Burr, myself. I wish I heard people like that 10 years ago. I really do, to help me navigate these waters. And that's why we're here to help you. And Chatting with Betsy, I'm here to help the listeners. I'm here to share people's information, people's stories. And I thank you, Maria, for coming on. And listeners, I think you should go check out Maria's Facebook page, JK House of Grace. She has a beautiful homes, and I know you've heard me say this, and I'll say it again. Maria and her staff are angels on earth, and I would have trusted Matt to be in Maria's care. And I don't say that lightly, because I had a hard time trusting Matt with anybody. So I definitely would have trusted Maria and her people to take care of my husband if I lived down in Maryland. And I just love you, Maria, and admire you so much.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best. Okay, listeners, that's the chat for today. If you missed any of it, like I said, go on Spotify, Spreaker, CastBox, Podchaser, and I appreciate if you could subscribe. And be safe, be kind, and be prepared, folks. Be prepared for your future.
Yes.
Get that Advance Directive. Go to your lawyer. They might do it virtual now. They might, it depends on your lawyer. But contact a lawyer. Get an appointment before it's too late. I can't say this enough, and you're going to hear it again and again because people need to hear it. Let's celebrate our loved one's life. Let's celebrate our own life. And in death, yes, you do celebrate the life. Honor your loved one's life. Honor your own life. And get the wishes known so that people can honor you at the end of your life and have the funeral that you want. And it's not meant to be sad. It's meant to honor your loved one and yourself. So until we talk again, this is Betsy Wuszel, host of Chatting with Betsy and Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye now.